Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode.
Happy Friday, everyone! Early Merry Christmas, too! People are so different. So I just had a chance to catch up with their weekly Friday one-on-one. Head manager asked if backup manager could come in too. I'm like, oh, yes, totally fine. Yeah, cool, absolutely. And but so I'm always getting a little nervous. Like, are you gonna jump me? Or are you gonna no, that's called. Are basically gonna catch me off guard? Like, what's gonna go on here? So need me to prep anything? Like, oh no, it's all good. Just want to talk about some of the relays between the sales and the appointment and the folks that are coming in. So okay, yeah, totally fine, cool. And so just had to check in. Man, it's the classic. Sales is great at generating excitement, getting energy, getting people engaged, plugged in, and getting appointments, talking revenue, and closing deals. Closing deals. Getting another one, ringing the deal bell, ding, 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 ding. And the folks that are on the back end of that feel the weight of what does it mean post-sale. Because once the sales rep rings the bell, they walk away and they go find that next thing to go chase, the next thing to go find, to go hunt, drag and tail home. And with the staff, today with the fifth manager or the GM and the other person, the backup manager, they're both a little bit hey, sales rep is doing fantastic. He was doing a lot of leads. I'm glad he's talking to us about our closing rates and everything going on. But on the same time, the sales rep was basically telling the shift leads and the managers, hey, your priority is my priority. You gotta do this, and you gotta take everything with a grain of salt. When folks feel slighted, they take that slighted perspective. When folks feel appreciated, they take that halo effect. So you always have to take someone's side of the story with a grain of salt. Don't know the whole context and every story. I always to tell someone's life story, or to narrate someone's day that they live out. It'll take an entire lifetime. So there's so many back details and back stories to the current moment. So you can only take the face value of what you hear. But it's the classic sales is over promising, and then everyone else under delivering, follow through on what they'll promise. And so it's not well, could the salesperson work in person? That's an interesting idea. You have to contemplate how that works. Let's see what we can do. I'll have to get both sides of the story. Definitely the things I'm hearing are this and this. The downside I'm hearing are this and this, and here's how it impacted you here and here. Want to make sure I'm gathering everything you're relaying over. Does that sound accurate? I don't want to miss anything that's important to you. Because my role as an owner is to be a mediator. I need to make sure everyone stays hired on, everyone stays plugged in, everyone's getting paid well, everyone's loving their job, people are able to tag team and work together, and that we're staying cohesive, and that we're all staying plugged into the current process. And it sounds like there's some feathers ruffled. And one example, at least, was a lead came in, they've been texting back and forth with sales person, hey, I'm here. And the sales manager is calling and texting the GM is hey, lead is there, go greet them, go welcome them, go sell them, let's go. And the manager is instructing a clock, and they're kind of busy working with current members. And the manager is where are you? You need to prioritize new leads. The person's oh, I'm trying to onboard 3 new leads that we just sold a week ago and signed the first book. And it's just tough because the sales person is always one more, add one more, do one more, bring one more. And operations and fulfillment is I gotta service, I gotta deliver, I gotta do what we already said we would do. And It's too many things all at once. And I'll be frank with the podcast. I want to have a salesperson in person. That's like for a role like that is like $45,000 a year, like maybe 60 if they're actually crushing it. But like, so let's break this down here. If we're generating, let's say we're doing 20 new members a month, and we're selling $150 a month, that's $3,000 a year. So a sales rep typically makes a third of what they bring in. Who wants to make $1,000 a month? You need to get the first month of membership as your commission, $3,000 a month for working only 8 hours a day. I say only because there are services, there are sales reps, there are companies that will charge $3,000 a month to have 24/7 phone answering services and appointment setting services, and they're 24/7 perfect English, and they don't skip a beat, they don't get sick, they don't have issues, they have downtime, they have plan B, and C, and plan D as backup. So in my mind, hiring a local person to work an 8-hour shift, well, even crazier, they'd have to work like the 6 to 12 shifts and then the 4 to 7 shifts. Like that's not going to fly, and I'm not going to pay 13 hours a day. So realistically, I mean, for someone to do that, that's an $80,000-$90,000 a year per person. Like that's the same salary as like a manager at Lifetime. Like that's big money. Like that's just not the business model. So I remember to be paying like $300 a month across the board to be affording that. Heck, that's not happening. That break our model. So okay, well, what's awkwardly difficult? If new additional staff will not fix the problem, then how do we better coordinate a remote person who's setting appointments to my in-person people? That might be I have a front desk person that's $15. Okay, that could work. That might be my managers have to work more. Instead of working like a 5-hour shift and a 5-hour shift, they work an 8-hour shift and 8 hours. Okay, that could work. Or we need to like work. Another thing I'm thinking about is we need to work our calendars better. I noticed that when they say like, hey, we don't have class, I didn't see that. So our sales rep is looking at calendars when he's saying like, well, yeah, Lee can come in on a certain evening. Okay, cool. But like, we don't have classes tonight. But the sales rep's like, hey, the person can have their first class. He looked at the calendar and the calendar was open. Okay. But on our social media posts, our Facebook posts, we're saying, hey, we don't have class on Friday night. The sales rep is looking at their appointment calendar. They're not looking at all the other noise going on. So there's a breakdown in communication. And the system, this is all about system. This is orderly system, following the system. They have to be on the calendar. The sales rep has to see the calendar, and our in-person staff have to use the calendar, because Facebook and GroupMe and all these other platforms, they're scrolling, they're feeding. 5 Facebook posts in, and that alert is gone. You don't see it. A month from now, we need to backtrack and be able to see like if we had class, or like when did someone have their first class ever? When did someone close? Have they ever come into the studio before? The calendar, people can play with the calendar. The calendar in coordination with our CRM is our source of truth. That has to be our source of truth. So Facebook is good. We have to be updating calendar. That's got to be the system. That's got to be the documentation. So along with all that, sales rep is getting frustrated because they're trying to get the endorphin rush. Staff are trying to fulfill and deliver. And this is one of the problems with the volatile cycle. Every 13 weeks, we have a 10-week challenge. That means there's 6 weeks of sell, and then 8 weeks of fulfill. And so there's that agitation for the in-studio people. And it's not like their day is rather predictable. Members come in like, oh, something's going on. I need to talk to my manager for a half hour. Okay, well, we can do that for a half hour, and now somebody else gets bumped out. Or hey, there's a walk-in lead. They saw kickboxing through the windows. They want to hear about our studio. Oh, that's a priority. Okay, we'll drop what we're doing. We'll go do that. We got him. Someone, like even today, one of our instructors who's teaching the 9 a.m. class, this kid had a ear infection. So now he can't come in and teach the 9 a.m. class because he's bailing. And in this case, I agree with them. He probably should bail because his sick kid is more important. So now, like on the spot, our manager is having to not do their administrative work and they have to go to class. But what if we had a lead and had to teach a class and they were blocking the time to update something else? But she doesn't know like what their day is going to look like. At least in our small boutique studio model. And it's tough because some of the coaches that I'm gaining advice from, they would argue we've got too many numbers, we're servicing too many people, we need to trim it down to fewer members, pay higher prices, so it's a more profitable endeavor with less tractions running around. When it comes to like too many unpredictable factors all at once, in this instance, I like that we're changing 250 lives. Our capacity is 420. I want to change 420 lives. But this is a staffing issue. This is a too many. One employee can serve as so many people. And like right now, it's about one employee can serve as 100 people. Once we add 150 more people, I don't know if we can bring on 1.5 people full time. And $150 a head. This current model in today's playbook does not work. So I pitched to his staff today, hey, I'm working on something. I want to offer a $4,000 program, an $800 challenge, and a $190 number. That'd be raising our prices about $40 a month. That would be doubling the cost of our 10-week challenge. We'll be offering a premium executive package that has a 10-year guarantee. A 10-year guarantee for making a 6-month commitment. After 6 months, the rest of the 9.5 months of your life are guaranteed that you will keep the weight off and you have a permanent life change or your money back. Guaranteed. And so the staff are like, oh, hey, wow, that is a big switch. I like that. Let's test that. Let's give it a run. And so that's my job. My core competency, my area of focus is I add value. I stuff in more good things to our program. Prices inch up, value jacks up. So all this to say, some of the frustrations with staffing, with headaches, I don't want to raise prices because I need more money. I need to raise prices so that we can service the people that are going to be the most pleasable, that we can have the right number of people in the studio, because we can't service this. If you go to Lifetime, they have 100 employees because they have 1,000 members. If you go to Planet Fitness, they have a ton of memberships, no one shows up, and a handful of staff. If you go to a karate studio, there's not a whole lot of people there because they don't have a lot of members and they don't have a lot of employees. And right now, we're kind of in that awkward middle phase. We've got 250 members. We should be at 400. And when I say it should be at 400, it's because of our physical space capacity. But we're still going to be short on our revenue to accomplish the business goals and the fulfillment goals. So the only way to correct that revenue and expense difference is revenue has to inch up. Revenue has to jump up. Expenses have to inch up. And we have fewer people to service because I don't want pathetic testimonials. I don't want testimonials to be like, hey, I lost 1% body fat in 10 weeks, which, by the way, that's like 2 pounds of body fat. You do that with doing minimal work. I want to have crazy results. I want every testimonial to be like jaw-dropping, eye-popping, feet-tapping. And right now, I can see some of the frustration when you have a member quantity number instead of a revenue size. Because right now our sales rep is cranking and churning and pumping and dumping and doing great stuff. He's doing amazing. But it's too much for the staff to fulfill. And I can see like the weight and the pressure on them. And at the end of the day, I need both sales and I need fulfillment. I need both of them. And I think as of today, with 270 members, I think we're inching towards too many members. And so in April, I told them the goal is we're going to be making changes. We're going to be increasing rates. We're going to be offering more expensive challenges. We're going to be offering a guaranteed executive, guaranteed deliverable. In here, we're going to have a sleep expert, a habits expert, a nutritionist, and people will be required to do that and to only eat. People will not be required to eat any food besides what I send them and water and Gatorade. That's it. And I will guarantee your results for 9.5 years. Cars have a 10-year, 100,000-mile guarantee. I want to have a 5-year, 25 million step guarantee. You do my thing, you will get the results you're looking for. So the coaches and experts say certain things, and I'm coming to believe that they're probably right. So that's where we're at. That's where we're going. Let's rock and roll.
This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.